Hey guys, welcome to Protocoders Point. Okay, so this is the fourth part of our tutorial on creating a S3 AWS S3 bucket-like services by making use of Node.js and without using any services from S3. Okay, so in this tutorial we are going to create a route by which a user will be able to register himself into our database. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we can create APIs in this route folder that we have created in previous tutorial. Okay, so here I will just create a file and name it as user routes.js. Okay, so in user route.js, all the user events such as registration, login will be done in this file. Okay, so to create API route, we need express with router. So first of all, we need to import it. So import it over here. So const router require express. Okay, and then from express I want to import route. Okay, so now by making use of this route I can create a. Okay, so I want to create a registration API, so I will just name it as register. Okay, so here we need to accept two parameters. One is request and response from the front end. Okay, so this is the callback function. Okay, and then finally we need to export it. So to export we can make use of export model export, and you just need to export the route that we have created. Okay, so registration, the like database, after whenever the user makes use of this API or hits this API, we need to register the user into our mongodb database. Okay, so we need to do it over here. Okay, so let me add a try catch block over here. Okay, so now inside this we need to register the user to our database. Okay, so in our previous tutorial, that is the third part, I have created the API, sorry, the user schema model, where we are going to store username and API key into our database. Okay, so here we need to import this file. Okay, so let's import it. Const user model. Okay, so now whenever the user want to register himself by making use of this API, we are going to pass one parameter, that is username. So you can just check this model. Okay, so here the user will pass his name. Okay, so that name we need to register into our database by creating a API key for him. Okay, so let's create it. Okay, so over here, so in the request we will get the name from the front end in a body tag. Okay, so here we can just accept it something like this. Okay, so from request.body we are going to accept name parameter. Okay, like this. Okay, and then we need to generate a API key for this user. Okay, so for that we will make use of cryptography. Okay, so you can see this is the package we are going to make use of to generate a API key. So let's import it. Crypto require crypto. Okay, and now what I will do is I will just create a string. Okay, so I will just name it as variable string is equal to name plus new date dot now. Okay, so I'm just storing my name and today's date, that is the registration time date. I'm just concatenating it and storing it into a variable, so that by making use of this I can create a API key for this user. Okay, so it will be unique for him. Okay, so now here I want to create a API key. Const API key is equal to crypto dot sh253 256 SHA256. Here we need to pass our string that we have created, this one, and here we need to convert it into toString. Okay, and you can just keep it as it is. So what I will do is I will just split this API key, so it will just generate a long API key for me. but I want only certain parts. For example, you can say 18 characters I want. So what I will do is I will just make use of slice and cut it. Slice I will do, and I will just take the first 20 characters from this API key. Okay. Okay. So our API key has been generated by making use of name and current date. Okay. Now I want to store the user data, that is name and the API key, into our user database. Okay. So for that, here I have imported this model. Okay. So now const user created. So I will just create a variable is equal to user model, so name and API key. Okay, so I'm just directly passing this as name and API as API key, because my model schema, the name is same. So you can see, so the character are same. So if you have named something else over here, for example, you have named it as username, then you can just define it something like this. So user name. So inside username, we are going to pass name. Okay, so in my case, it is name. So I can just pass it something like this, or I can just pass it like this. Okay, so user created object has been created. Now I want to save this data into our database. Okay, so for that I must make use of await user dot save. Okay, so here await is giving me an error because this function is not async type. So I will just change it to async. Okay, and then I want to response the user that the user has successfully been created. Okay, so for that, what I will do, I will just make use of this response dot JSON, and I will just pass this data. Okay, so I will just pass a status as 200 and success. Okay, so our API route has been created, so it has been exported. So we need to use this or initialize it in our app.js by making use of express over here. Okay, so you can just do it over here. So express.use. Okay, and first of all we need to import this file in this app.js file. Okay, so let's do that. So user route require API route user route. Okay, and now here you just need to declare this thing in root. Okay, so now let me run this project and check if it is working or no. So I just need to run index.js and everything will get started. Okay, so you can see it is listening to port 3000, it is saying, and mongodb has been connected. Okay, so this is working because in API route I have made use of user model, and in user model I have imported this database connectivity file. Okay, so now let's check if it is working. So what I will do is I will just open Postman. So you can see, so I'll just create new thing, Postman. What I will do is I will just take this parameter. Okay, so our API is API route. Okay, and inside body parameter I want to send a username. So name. So I will just enter my name. Okay, and the data type, data that is of the JSON type. Okay, okay, so let me hit. Date time is not a constructor, so here it is showing me an error, so let me fix this. Okay, so date time dot now dot get time, date time date dot get time. Okay, so let me save this thing, run the code, go to Postman and hit it. Okay, so you can see user has been created with status code as 200. Okay, so now let me open my mongodb database and let's check. Okay, so you can see our database name is S3 bucket like. Okay, so I think so. the database will get created. Okay, so you can see, so inside this we have a user and there is a user been registered. Okay, so that's all for this video tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Proto Coders Point. Thank you.